The zodiac is the cycle of life. Let me explain. Astrology is so much more than just horoscopes, and I'm going to explain why the 13 or the 12 signs in the zodiac are the cycle of life. Aries represents the first house. It is birth. It is those first few years when it's all about you. You cry, you scream, you show whatever emotion you're feeling. You need help with absolutely everything from feeding yourself to changing your diaper. And at this point, most people are born head first into the world. Aries represents the head. Then you move on to your Taurus stage. Taurus rules over like the mouth, and it's when you start eating like solid food rather than just milk, and you start to put like everything in your mouth. The energy of Taurus is all about like enjoying life, and like as a toddler you're just kind of putting everything in your mouth to taste it and get that tactile sensation. Next, you move into your Gemini phase of life around the age of 2 or 3. This is when you learn how to talk. And you start learning how to speak. You learn like colors and basic math and all that stuff. And you ask 1 million questions. The Cancer and Leo, those represent the stages of puberty. And Cancer rules over like a women's development, and Leo rules over the male development. So this is when people start to either go through menstruation or their testicles drop, they start getting erections, etc. You're starting to like grow more rapidly, you're going through hormonal changes, and this lasts a few years until you get to your Virgo stage. Virgo is when your taste buds start to change and when you become like hypercritical of things. Like this is that stage in maybe like late middle school, like maybe 7th or 8th grade to 9th grade-ish, like to maybe 14-ish years old. And during this stage, you also develop critical thinking abilities, because Virgo is all about analysis. It's all about putting things under a microscope, but it's also about digestion. And this is when your tastes and digestion change as well. The stage of Libra is when we start to solidify in our hierarchy, like that social hierarchy that develops in high school. It's when you develop your first relationship. It's when you develop like the people you hang out with, your clique, your social connections. And those things started developing earlier. I mean, this isn't like so clear cut, and these stages overlap a little. But Libra is essentially when you start to, it's when you get that Romeo and Juliet feelings towards someone. Maybe you have your first relationship. You start to solidify in like with particular friends and start to identify with them. Around the age of 17, 18, 19, you move on to your Scorpio stage. And Scorpio represents sex, death, transformation. It is a time where someone is transitioning from kind of like childhood to adulthood. And that transformation is very painful, or rather uncomfortable. It's that period where you're maybe like a senior, or you just graduated high school, and you have more freedom, but you're not necessarily like free as an adult. Like you're still a kid, but you're now like assuming adult responsibilities. And this is also the point in time where people typically lose their virginity. Okay, from the Scorpio stage, we move on to the Sagittarius stage. Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter, it represents philosophy and higher education. And this is international travel. And this is usually what people do at that age. They go to college, they solidify in their philosophy, in their politics. They'll travel the world if that's what's in store for them. They'll go on adventures. They will go through idea changes. This is when new ideas start to form that are more adult, right? Like like how do you believe you ought to function in the world? What's your philosophy? What's your religion? Are you going to college? Are you traveling? These are the things that happen at that stage. Next, you move to the Capricorn stage of the 10th house, which rules over your career, work. This is when you start to get solidified in a particular career, right? Maybe you've graduated college or you already joined the workforce, but you're a little bit further along. Your career development is what this stage of life is. This is usually like your late 20s. Then you enter your Aquarius stage, and this is when you have to deal with the reality of what like adult friends are. You now are putting other people above yourself because you typically have either a wife, a husband, or kids. Maybe you didn't choose that life, but you have other friends that maybe you're responsible to or for. But as far as archetypes and cycles go, this is what Aquarius represents. You know, when you have someone or something in your life that is now more important, that the whole is more important than just yourself. My dog is very anxious. And finally, the Pisces stage of life is, not everyone gets there, but it's kind of this like spiritual enlightenment. And you know, it's all about kind of getting in touch with God or spirit. You know, it's hard to describe because Pisces is so, you know, whoosh. And it's the stage where you kind of pass into the next life, right? Like the next realm. This ended up being a really long video, so I hope some of you stuck around for it. Let me know what else you'd like me to talk about.